All right, hello friends, and welcome to another exciting episode of Is This Lighting Too Bright, or is it just right? I don't know, but I feel white as hell, so yippee. Anyway, I wasn't going to vlog me reading this book, but I am 7% of the way through it, and I want to talk to the camera about it, so hi. Welcome to Alien Tyrant by Ursa Dax, the first book in a series called The Fated Mates of the Sea Sand Warlords. Wow, incredible. I was just kind of feeling like I wanted to read a book, but I didn't want to read any of the books that I have planned to read. So I went on my Kindle and I just sorted by alphabetical. This is the first book that's in my Kindle library that I haven't read, and I was like, sure, we're gonna do it. So let's just hop right into this, and let me tell you what I know of this book so far. I don't know what the guy's name is, and it's gonna take me a while before I even begin to try to parse names and terminology and things, but basically we have this alien guy, and he's like alien, like okay. Before, when I was reading like Ice Planet Barbarians and stuff, and it was like, yeah, they're aliens, but they're also pretty humanoid. This one's like a step above that, where he's still kind of humanoid, but like he has claws and a tail, and something's with like his nose. It's not like a normal human nose, because he sees a human and he's like, that's not a nose. Anyway, he is sleeping in a tent. I don't know if he is on a journey for some sort of like war thing, or if this is the town that he lives in. Regardless, he is sleeping, and this like giant lizard basically comes up, and he hears it call out to him, and he's like, that's the sound, because apparently giant lizards in this world are what come to you in the middle of the night to tell you who your like soulmate is. So he's like, oh, it's my time. So he follows this giant snake to the giant snake's cave, where everybody knows where they exist, but you're not allowed in unless the giant snake is like leading you to the cave. And he gets into this pool, this lake of what he calls like snake blood, but it's white and it's milky and it's thick. So you know what, we're gonna world building, right? He goes in there and he opens his eyes and he sees this human girl, which is weird because he's an alien and he doesn't know what a human is. So he's like, and yet and we end his chapter with him being like, where is she? Next chapter, we open up. This is chapter 1 now. That before was a prologue. Chapter 1, we open up with Cece, because I'll remember that name. And she has woken up really early in the morning because she had this really strange dream that she was in this like really bright and white space, kind of like floating, kind of like she was in water or some sort of liquid. And she saw like a hand reaching out for her. And I'm pretty sure she says, hold on, let me double check. It's been a whole 5 minutes, but I want to make sure that I'm saying this correct. Yeah, it was inhuman and strange, the hand. And her first thought is, let me just read to you this entire paragraph. I didn't need a psychoanalyst to tell me what it meant. A feeling of loss, a hand reaching for me, surrounded by white. What other kind of dream could I expect right after losing my grandmother? So he goes through this sort of like ritual sort of thing, and he sees his soulmate, and he's like, I need to look for her now. And she's like, obviously this is a dream because my grandma just died and I'm like dreaming of missing her. Duh. I legitimately have not read anything else in this book. The second that I read that, I got up, I grabbed my camera, I turned everything on, you know, when we started this. I'm so excited to see where this goes. And I needed, like I said, I wasn't planning on vlogging this experience because I'm like, listen, does anybody truly on the internet want to listen to me talk about alien porn? But congratulations, you're listening to me talk about this. Okay, oh my god, it's been 10 minutes since I started this video, but I was like, I'm gonna finish this scene that I'm reading, and then I need to hop on the camera again and tell you guys about what's going on because, okay, so basically we talked about how the main female character, she had a dream where she saw this hand in like this white pool thing, and she's going on a run really early in the morning, basically in order to like tire herself out so that she doesn't like dream again and she just kind of like goes back to sleep. Anyway, she's on this run. This van pulls up. She gets kidnapped. And I was like, whoa. And then she wakes up and she's in this room with these 3 other girls and they're talking to each other trying to figure out like, why did we get kidnapped? You know, why us in particular? What is our similarities? You know? And basically what they're finding out is that they are all college students. Like the main character says that she's 25, but you know, somewhere around that age. The 3 other girls are American, but the main character is Canadian. And they assume they've been kidnapped for some sort of sex trafficking thing, which I'm like, what in the Ice Planet Barbarians is going on? Because that's exactly how Ice Planet Barbarians started. And not every single alien book is going to be Ice Planet Barbarians, you know? But the similarities are pretty striking. Anyway, this woman comes in and she's like, hey, follow me to the mess hall. Weird. And so they go to this mess hall and there's a whole bunch of other girls in there too. And they're like, okay. And this man at the very front starts explaining this whole thing. Basically, a whole bunch of governments around the world have decided that they are going to kidnap women. And they want to, there's this planet that doesn't have a name. It does have a name, but it's just a bunch of letters and numbers, and who cares? The point is, it has some sort of energy source on it, and they can't get to the energy source because there's a very hostile, like, alien group. And so they are gathering a whole bunch of college students with a whole bunch of different like majors that might help in this situation. Like our main character is a linguistics major and they're thinking that maybe she was chosen in order to like come up with some sort of translation or just speaking to the aliens in general. There's like a vet tech, there's a botanist, you know, just a bunch of random things that might help you survive on an alien planet. And they're gonna send the girls to this planet and hope that they can get the energy source, whatever it is. And one of the girls is like, well, what if we say no? Like, I'm not going to space, you can't make me. And so they open the window and they show like Earth progressively getting smaller and smaller in the distance because they're already in space. I'm obsessed with this book. I'm so glad that I'm talking to you guys about it, actually, because by tomorrow I'll have it finished. These few hours that you're going to spend with me tonight is the only time that I'm ever going to experience this book, because I'm going to have this thing done max 3 hours from now. I'm so excited. At this point, I think I think I just have to record the entire time while I'm reading this book. By the way, I took a shower. My bangs are dry, but the rest of my hair isn't. So, yay. I've only read like this single paragraph that I need to tell you guys about, but oh my god. They're landing. So they spent a few weeks while they were traveling to this planet, trying to learn as much as they can for our main character in particular, because she is there for like language and stuff. She's been listening to recordings and trying to like figure out any sort of words, any sort of like, this must mean this. And she's gotten like a handful of words that she thinks, like there's one that she's like, this is either a weapon or a stick or something, or like she'll hear a word of like, you know, the aliens talking to each other, and she'll see them like poke at something on the ground, and she'll be like, okay, I think that must be like some sort of animal that they're killing for food, but I'm not 100% sure. So, you know, they've been spending a few weeks doing that. They are descending, landing onto the planet, and literally it's like 4 paragraphs back to back. We have descending, we have a short paragraph about the leader, the colonel, standing. We have him saying, welcome to, and then he gets cut off because something sharp and bloody and black burst through the front of his chest, tearing his uniform and leaving him slumped to the ground with whatever it was withdrew. So, I don't think this is going to be a very peaceful landing. And apparently I have to record every single time that I'm reading, because the amount of times I'll read something and go, oh, it's criminal. Okay, I'm finally getting a good description of what these aliens look like, and I'm going to share it with you in a like sort of summarizing sort of way so we can all imagine this in our heads, because that's interesting and not human. So it says skin color, deep copper, fading to brown, and even as dark as black at certain points, like his shoulders, his feet, and the end of his tail. Tail, thick. She specifically says like a kangaroo, and that his feet are also kind of kangaroo-esque. There's one big claw on the foot, and then 2 smaller claws around that claw. Like, okay, imagine toes, because that's what I'm imagining, but there's like 3 in their claws. Like, does that make sense to you? It makes sense to me. Hands, 4 fingers and a thumb, congratulations. But there's claws. From his shins to his shoulders, he looked mostly like a man. Great. 7 feet tall. Face, from like nose down, normal, except for the fangs. And oh, by the way, he has 3 tongues. Or at the very least, he like tongue, and then it splits 3 ways. That was a detail from earlier that's not in this, that I just, cool. Nose, it says specifically like a cat's, and that's such a good description, because when I was trying to read him talk about his nose, I was like, all I can tell is it's not human, but I can't tell like what exactly is going on here. Like a cat's, that makes more sense in my brain. And then it says, I don't understand this at all. His brows were heavy, raised, and dark, the skin fading from bronze to black as it met his dark hairline. I can't imagine that at all for some reason. Hair, he has hair. We don't care. Nobody cares about the hair. At the top of his head, on the sides, his ears stood tall and pointed like a Doberman whose ears had been cropped. Which is like interesting, the animalistic traits plus also like the more humanoid traits. What a picture in my brain. Eyes, no white, just black. Copper colored sparks. In the middle, that swirled, I'm reading this now for the first time, swirled, expanded, and contracted. They look like tiny metallic galaxies. Interesting. Okay. And then we're getting more into the story. She is attempting to communicate with the only word that she knows, which I think is the weapon word. He doesn't know that she doesn't speak his language. She's trying to figure it out as she goes. But description-wise, interesting. Another thing that I should say is that I really enjoy when these books have like a language barrier sort of thing. That's one thing that I really missed the further that I got into Ice Planet Barbarians, was that like there were learning the language, and then there was this whole thing where just like all of I was gonna say all the girls, but honestly everybody just learned like everybody else's language, and that was kind of upsetting. So having this book where there's a language barrier, whoa, is like, I'm really enjoying it, especially in the guy's point of view, whose name is like Burude. Because he's like trying to figure out what Cece is saying, but he doesn't understand any of the words. They're doing like this little miming thing back and forth, where because she knew some words of like his language from watching all those videos, she'd say a word and he'd be like, knife? She'd say another word and he'd be like, cactus. You know, things like that. But it's really fun when you are reading English words in the point of view of somebody who doesn't know English. Because, for example, here, she calls him an AHHSOLE. Asshole. And also calls him a TIERENT. Tyrant. Just like, I really love seeing, I don't know, English words in the point of view of somebody who doesn't know English. It's always so much fun. And I don't know, I'm only 30% of the way through this book. I'm really enjoying it. Similarly, in these sorts of books, I really enjoy when we talk about like the way that language is spoken and like the sort of mouth forms that you have to do in order to speak, because I feel like oftentimes in media we have this idea that alien languages are a little bit more difficult. Like there's probably some sort of thing that they say that human mouths, tongue, throat, whatever, whatever part of, the whole speech thing just cannot make that sound. But in this book and in Ice Planet Barbarians as well, and I don't mean to keep bringing up Ice Planet Barbarians when I'm not reading Ice Planet Barbarians, but it's just because like this is such a new genre, I feel like, that it's hard to not use the other as an example when talking about something that is in this book. But in Ice Planet Barbarians, our main character of our first book was named Georgie, but the aliens in that book can't pronounce G sounds, and so it got to a point where like readers were really used to calling her, or to reading her name as Shorshi, to the point where like now, even talking about it, Georgie seems wrong. Like her name's not Georgie. Her name's Shorshi. That's what her name is. And there's a bunch of other characters in that series as well that like their names were slightly changed just because of the way that language works for these aliens. Similar in this, our main character's name is Cece, but apparently he can't pronounce like C. So her name is now going to be Zizi, I guess. I just really love the way that these authors like really think about the language systems in these books and make it something that's not compatible to English. I'm so upset, actually. I'm 70% of the way through the story right now. It's been going really good. I'm really enjoying myself with the story. Something just happened. I won't tell you what it is. And Cece magically learned the alien language. And like, I know that eventually we had to do something. We couldn't keep the language barrier the entire time. But I was really hoping that she'd get really good at being able to, like, slowly learn it, and there wouldn't be any sort of magical involvement at all. I'm so upset. Maybe she'll be... There's no way. Like, if there's more books in the series, there's no way that she's going to be the only one who has this treatment, you know? Like, I was going to say maybe she's the only one and she'll just be like a translator for everybody else, but nobody else will magically learn. They'll have to, like, actually naturally learn. But there's no way. Like, that's just two special privileges. But damn it. I wanted her to learn naturally. Did you know that every single time I turn on the camera, I put on my glasses? So you guys don't have to see me with my glasses off, even though I've been reading without my glasses on. You should feel thankful. Anyway, I have 20 pages until I'm done. This is my tripod, by the way, in case you're wondering what that is. I have 20 pages until I am done with this book, but it's 1:30 and I'm tired. I can't believe I could have finished this book all in one sitting. If I started it just a little bit earlier, or if I didn't take a shower, but I'm going to stop it here for tonight. I think we're about to get into, like, a big battle scene, so that's exciting. And then I was looking to see, I looked at the table of contents in order to see, you know, how many pages I have left. And I noticed that there are 2 chapters coming up. There's 5 chapters total that I have to read. One of them is in Taliok's point of view, and the other is in Chapman's point of view. And I was like, ooh, that's interesting. Taliok is a character who is, like, not from the tribe that, I forgot his name again, the main male love interest of this book. They're not from the same tribe. He's from, like, a neighboring tribe. But he also revealed that he had gone to the snake place, and they had shown that he has a human mate as well. So that's exciting. And then we have a chapter in Chapman's point of view, Chapman being one of the military people from the very beginning. She's the one who showed the girls to the mess hall. Like, we talked about her for a full, like, 3 seconds in the beginning of this video. So I'm interested in seeing what that's going to be. I don't know how many books are in this series, but, like, I know that we're going to meet up with the girls again from the very beginning, and in particular the 3 girls that our main character got to know at the very beginning. And I have a feeling for, like, some of the guy characters and some of those girl characters and who I think is going to end up with who, because obviously they're going to end up together. I so desperately want to look this up right now because, like, I have a feeling that I know exactly who is going with who, and I'm excited for that. But I'm really enjoying this series. Tomorrow, when I start reading again, I'm going to read like 20 pages, and then I'm going to immediately go and I'm going to buy all of the other books that are in this series that are released, hopefully. Is the series over? I don't even know. And then that's all I'm going to do tomorrow is just read all of these books. I'm really having a good time with it. I just love the world building and the, like I said, the language barrier and just like learning a whole new culture, I guess. It's one of my favorite things to read. It's why I like these sorts of books so much. I'm gonna go to sleep now. Actually, before I go to sleep, you and I are going to look up together. Ooh, there's motion in my backyard. Oh, from 30 minutes ago. It's probably the deer. You and I are going to look up together the other books in this series and see, like, who goes with who. Okay, The second one's called Alien Enemy. And then it's talking, like, the first thing that I read is they call me the Mad Gon, which Gon is like the leader of each tribe. Is this going to be in the villain of this one's point of view? Okay, this one's about Chapman. Like we said, the military girl. And then Follow, who's the bad guy in this one. That's wild. Okay. Not what I was expecting at all, but cool. And then the next one, the third one in the series, Melanie and Taliok. Okay. The fourth one, Cat. Fuck yeah! I knew it. I was like, I have a feeling Cat and Gallock. I knew it. I don't know why. It was just like, they seem like they would go together. How many books are in this series? Oh my god. There are 16 books in this series, it looks like. That's so exciting though. Oh my god, I was not expecting that of Chapman and Follow. Melanie and Taliok I don't really care about. Cat and Gallock. Let's go. I'm just saying words to you guys at this point. You don't know who any of these people are. Cat's my favorite of the 3 girls from the very beginning, that we haven't seen a lot of them. And then Gallock is, what's his name from this book's, like, right-hand man, best friend sort of thing. And I had a feeling. Let's go. Okay, update. It is now the next day, as you can see, because light is shining through my door. I just finished Alien Tyrant, and it was so good, you guys. Even there's, like, conflict at the very end. I don't want to go too much detail into that in case, like, you're watching this video and you're like, damn, I want to read that book now. But there's this conflict at the very end that was very surprising. The answers that came out of it, like, oh, okay, but like in a good way. Like, I love that for these people, because that is kind of a very big question. Okay, to set the scene, this planet has at the very least 3 different alien tribes, if not more. I don't know how many there are exactly, but for right now we're talking about 3. And them being different tribes, there's a little bit of like fighting between them. As I was reading this, I was going, okay, like, what are we gonna do? Because we aren't gonna want to separate the humans, but also if there's 3 different tribes, how are we going to divvy them up like this? And so I think the resolution to that conflict was very good, very interesting. This is definitely something that's like world changing to these people, and I think that really reflects the resolution. Like I said, it was just a really good book. I'm really excited to see. And I know last night I was talking about how I was looking into the other books to see what the pairings were in the later books, and how I was really surprised that next book is going to be Follow and Chapman. But after reading the end of this, I'm like, I do agree that the next book should be Follow and Chapman, because there were some things going on that I'm like, I want to see how that develops. And then as well, where's my phone? Taliok's relationship is really surprising, because it never says in the book who he's gonna get with. And I remember reading it, so I'm looking up right now. Like, I just want to spoil myself. I love knowing what each book is going to be in this sort of series before I actually read it. I think he's the 3rd book in the series, though. Goodreads, please, for once in your life, load. I don't know what their issue is. You're owned by Amazon. You would think that they know how to load a web page. Taliok and Melanie. That's what I thought, but I wasn't 100% sure. Because it makes sense. We have like the 4 main girls, Cece and all of her 3 friends that she had made while they were at the very beginning, you know, kidnapped together. And so it makes sense that we go through those 3 girls like first, even though like Chapman wasn't one of the 3 girls, but listen, I'm just saying I'm really excited for the next book in the series, the rest of the series in general. I'm gonna go once I finish recording this and like get all the other books. I'm so serious. That is all that I'm going to do all day. Next video is gonna be me reading 3 of them because I feel bad doing like 15 videos in a row where I'm just reading like each book in the series, but I do also want to finish the series because, okay, before when I was making videos, I was trying to give a little bit of like, okay, I've read a book in this series, so now I'm going to go read a book that wasn't in that series or is in a different series to give, you know, some interest. So I'm not just talking about the same book series over and over again if that's not something that you enjoy. But ultimately, I hate doing that because then I never finished the series. And I'm spending time being like, oh, it's been like a few months since I read the first book and I don't fully remember it the way that I want to in terms of like the small details or little bits of foreshadowing that I was picking up on that maybe I put to the side because I'm not fully getting that right now. And so I want to start reading like full series when I am interested in them. But I also simultaneously don't want to do like 1 book each video when we have big series like this, especially because this book was like 230 pages, so you know they're relatively short. I feel like the next video I'm going to read the next 3 books in this series, but I really enjoyed this. I wouldn't necessarily say 5-star read, but I'd say somewhere around 4 to 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this, really excited to get into another series like this and see what else is going to happen. I don't know what it is about it. I just really love these stories where we are in a different place and we are trying to figure out like how to not only live and survive, but also like the community building aspects of it. I just really enjoy a series like this, so I'm super excited that I found another one kind of accidentally, and I'm excited to get into some more of this, but because I finished the book, I'm going to go ahead and finish this video as well. So thank you for joining me as I read through Alien Tyrant by Ursa Dax. I hope that you enjoyed my excited, absolutely obsessed ramblings as I read through this book. And I hope you will join me in my next video as I read through the next few books in this series. I don't know the names off the top of my head, but once we get there, I'll let you guys know.